All right. Okay, good morning. Good morning, traders, and welcome to the Bookmap All Markets webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap. I'll be your host today, as I am on Monday, Tuesdays, and Fridays, 10 a.m. Now, a note on that right off the bat is that a note on that right off is that we will not have any events on Monday and Tuesday, except for the Brazilian market and the Indian market. Right, so reason being is U.S. holiday, 4th of July. Enjoy your time off. We just don't think there's going to be much. It's like a half day on Monday or something, so it's really not worth it. It's much more worth it to enjoy the time off. All right, so anyway, I'm the Bookmap lead educator here, and we have many different traders, and my job here is to support and go through market microstructure to train and to educate everybody and to pass that baton on to our many different educators. So let me show you, for example, and I'm very proud of this, that we have this and we offer this to you from our bookmap.com/learning-center. If you come here, it's from, here, let me show you where, from bookmap.com. And then the more button here, and then go to Learning Center. Okay, that'll open up the Learning Center here, and scroll down a little bit, and then you'll see all of the streamers that we have here. It's fantastic, right? Scott Pulsini, J Trader, Tom B, Doug, Alga Boys, Fausto, Options Millionaire, John Slazas, and many more here, and also in German, in Spanish, in Portuguese, in Hindi, in Arabic. Really very, very happy to offer this to you guys. And then underneath here, you'll see the events in the schedule here on the calendar. All right, so anyway, that's the different educators that we have here. And then, yeah, you can reach me at Bruce at Bookmap on our Bookmap Discord channel. And then my Twitter handle is at Flow Order. General disclosure, all Bookmap limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure, trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, so let's jump in here to take a look at these markets. Looking at the S&P E-mini, we got a request to take a look at the Russell, so we will. And let me know if there's any other markets. This is the All Markets webinar, right? So we'll look at crypto, we'll look at stocks, we'll look at other futures markets, anything that I have access to. Now, I also want to mention something here. Good morning, BBM. Good morning, Luis. And wanted to mention we just launched this, and I'll put the link into the chat for you. Okay, it is the Bookmap Academy. Yeah, this is the only link to it. So this is what I'll provide you. Bookmap.com/academy or en/academy English. And we can talk about this, what it is exactly, but this is basically an on-ramp for you guys if you want to become more professional trader here. Elevate your trading skills via documentation and journalization of your trading activity. You will share that with others. You will meet other like-minded traders. You will improve due to your documentation. If you meet some requirements in here, go through the steps here. How do you join? Then you can get Bookmap for free. All right, and there's a whole process that we have here. Step one is to apply to the Bookmap Junior Academy. If you are accepted, it's a trial period for a month, and we evaluate your content to make sure it is high quality and that you are meeting the quantitative threshold as well. If you make that, you can join the Bookmap Academy, and what you get there is you get global or global plus, I'm sorry, for free. If you double that quota, you can get the MBO bundle for free. Right, you can read through all of this in here, but this next step after that is you could become a coach. This is after you have learned about trading, learned how to properly document, and you've honed your strategies. Then in the Bookmap Academy, you continue to hone your strategies, and then you can pay some of this back and get even better at your strategies, because in our belief is that the more that you present and have to articulate to others about your trading strategies, the better you're going to get at your own trading strategies. All right, so the coaches would come back in here and help the Bookmap Junior Academy guys. If you do that, we'll give you also free market data along with Bookmap Global Plus and add-ons. And then if you continue to do that at a very nice level, you can move on to the Bookmap Academy streamers. We already have 3 different guys streaming right now that have made it through this program here. Okay, now the program is now publicly launched, but we kind of had this running in the background for a couple of years. But basically, the streamers in here, one we just added, which is Moby. He will be on Wednesdays and Friday mornings, East Coast time. Doug and Tom are both from the Bookmap Academy programs. Right, so basically this is like a farm club here for us using this academy for baseball analogy here, and it's an on-ramp for you guys. So if you're interested in this, it's free. You can get started here. You sign up here. You can read more about the frequently asked questions here, and then you'll just join. Basically what you'll do is you'll join into our Discord channel, and then you will request a spreadsheet in there to document your trading activity. That's it. It's free, and you can get started. All right, so you will need to have Bookmap, and it is about Bookmap content that will help others understand how you're trading as well. All right, guys, enough on that. Let's jump into these markets and see what's happening here. We're just trading up into high liquidity here at 44.85. This is looks like a pretty key level to me. But let's jump back here. We have 4,500 up here. Let's jump back though and take a look here at the bigger picture at our candlestick charts. And we just need to do this. We need to get an understanding of what this means in context here. So we have on the left side here of the daily candlestick chart. In the middle is the hourly, and then we have the 15-minute on the right. All right, so what do we see here? Well, on the daily, this is clearly a strong bullish day to the upside. And where are we going? Well, right up into these wicks here where this pulled back. Now, we talked about this. We have to even go back to the weekly chart here. And let's expand this chart out. It's turning into a beautiful reversal pattern here. I don't know about this as a strong reversal whatsoever. I mean, yeah, we see some pretty strong weeks in here. The last like month has been very strong, and we were all over that, watching this, looking for it to come up into this wick in here. Then one day it broke through that wick, so we're looking for it to go higher up into these wicks here, and that's where we're approaching right now. So we are approaching this previous high here from 2 weeks ago, 44.86 or so, something like that, and we're getting there, right? So I'm looking for a test into it, and we can see that a lot of other traders, well, we're almost there. We can see a lot of other traders are thinking the same thing with their high liquidity here in the order book. So we're already making a reference to and understanding the condition of the auction here. Seems to be a lot of sellers up here, right? So are we going to trade into it? Are we going to trade through it? that's when we'll dig in and look in deeper here to see what's happening. So we'll look at these details in here. I can't wait because we're already seeing a lot of liquidity already trading here. And we want to understand the context. Is there still more buying pressure, or did all of these limit sell orders really absorb all of that buying pressure? And that's what we'll determine. But let's just come back to again to the higher time frame candlestick charts, because we want to understand our levels. We want to focus on these higher time frame levels and what we anticipate around those areas. Then we're going to look at the order flow to give us insight to what's happening at those levels. And that's where we're going to get insight to what direction price may go. All right, so this is the weekly chart. So we're still looking for continuation here. I want to cover this though on the daily, which I think is very important to cover. Regardless of this being a gap in here, we already know that. And we were looking actually to see if this would fill more of that gap. It filled a little bit of it, but not much in here. So enough to go below these swings and then find buyers. Okay, pretty typical. Now, I just want to cover this pattern here because we're going to see it in the order flow. This is on the daily chart is some really beautiful continuation patterns, in particular the flag pattern. Okay, so strong move. Look at this very, very mild pullback in here, followed by a really strong move. And then we got another pullback. I thought, I was looking at and speculating that because we're getting up into these areas here, this is enough to find enough sellers to drive it back down and retest down here around 43.20. And here's what we're learning from that. It's a mild pullback. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of the 6 days were down days on the daily chart. But all price did was go back and retest below these swings here. And then we can see buyers coming in hand over fist 4 days to the upside here. All right, so this is strong. These are strong moves. And we will look for continuation of these strong moves until we see something different. I was anticipating and speculating that once we drop and close below here, that we might get the gap fill. And we just didn't. This was an opportunity for buyers that wanted to buy and thinking price is going to go higher. And so far, so good. Okay, so that's what we can learn and pull away from this daily chart. All right, so it is obviously an outside day already, but we've already probably hit an average daily range or exceeded it. So I am starting to look at these wicks up in here in terms of, I mean, yes, we're looking for trend continuation, but we've already continued quite a bit. I think we need a bit of a pullback here. So we're up into these wicks on the hourly, as you can see, and you can see the gap in here. All right, so we'll go with the trend until we see something else. All three charts here are very bullish. Here's the candlestick chart on the 15-minute, and we're still going to the upside. All right, so until we see something different, we continue to look for that move. And now we come back into Bookmap. That's exactly what's been happening. All right, so now let's take a bigger picture, step back in the order flow here, and then understand what's going on. Well, clearly a strong move, and we had data at 8:30, or I'm sorry, we have data here at 10, but we had data at 8:30, which was the important number, which is the PCE, and we can see the move here. It was the move, the data was on target, but the reaction to it was very, very bullish, as you guys can see. So we get the continuation move. All right, now what we want to understand here is like, how is it trading up here? Okay, because without understanding this in the order flow, we just see this. And it's like, yeah, well, we're looking for the continuation move as well. But we're starting to note that it is an extended move. It is, relative to the other daily moves, this is a big move. Yeah, I would start to look for reasons for a slowdown or a turnaround and a pullback into some of these areas here. And I do not see it yet. However, let's put the pieces together. Okay, one is we look at the volume in here, or the higher highs, etc. So that's been strong. Okay, no question there. But now look at the traded volume up here. Okay, look at the move down here and look at how we see, yeah, there's some big sellers maybe in some of these areas, but we're seeing more buyers, more aggressive market buy orders transacting at higher highs very consistently through here. Okay, now we're seeing that as well. We're breaking out of our area here. However, we're starting to note, look in this area in particular, there's a lot of sellers in here, right? So we can see that. And we can look at the bars as well. Not just the dots. We can look at the volume delta bars that I have down here. So I would actually anticipate this strong move here, or this breakout here, not to be so many new buyers coming in, but a stop run here. And we do see a stop run. It's not that big, but we do see a stop run here. So maybe it can push again on another stop run, but we're starting to note a lot of sellers up here compared to the buyers in command of this move here, right? So that's a difference. All right, so we can put that into our bag. Number two, let's look at the order flow in here. Okay, so the historical order flow, we can see that we traded into high liquidity here at 82, 83, 84, 84.5, and 85. Okay, so we're starting to kind of slow down a little bit here. We're starting to see this liquidity transact. This is another step to look at here. All right, so now we can add another one in here. Look at this. This just came in to the market. High liquidity on the offer, getting filled on the way up. Right, so we see yet again, now these guys pulled in here, and we see some algorithmic activity in here clearly. But these guys transacted up in this area up in here, and they're on the offer again at the same level. Okay, we're starting to find sellers now. Okay, I'm looking for these sellers to drive it back to retest some of these areas now. We're breaking this swing low here, this little swing. We can also look at our trend line in here, and we're starting to break that as well. Okay, so we're starting to see maybe a move back down into our 43.50 swing here. The next one is down here at 82.50 here. Okay, so yeah, and we're just below this one. I imagine we're probably going to get a pullback to 85 here. But we'll see. Maybe sellers just come in, and we'll move it right back down to this swing here at 82.5, and we're just about there. All right, yeah, I would anticipate a pullback down here. Okay, because of the swing. I don't see much liquidity in here, but I imagine we're going to hit some stops maybe, and then get maybe a pullback up to our maybe 84 or 85 levels in here. 84.25, 85. Right, so yeah, anyway, that's what we see at the moment here. Right now, this was we were looking for continuation, and we stay with that until we see something different. We're seeing something different. All right, so and we were looking for that different thing to unfold here due to all of the different bullet points we just went through. All right, so this is how you can start to read and put pieces together for your benefit trading and using Bookmap here. Right, so we can see the and start to anticipate these moves in here, right, and what they might look like. Now, how do you come in here and manage the trade? What's your methodology in here for entry and trade management and exit? So there's so many ways to kind of slice and dice it in here, but once you start to see some of these things unfold, and then you start to see sellers, and they are breaking structure. We can just start with that. Breaking structure. That's a good one. And it will start with microstructure. It always does. It has to. And then it will break the bigger structure. Okay. Now the microstructure is right here. Okay, this is pretty easy to read in terms of microstructure. Here's our breakout here. Okay, and we noted it was a stop run, and it's up into high liquidity over here. Okay, so we have a lot of pieces here moving together. High liquidity, high liquidity, high liquidity, high liquidity, high liquidity, all being filled on the way up. We're at an ADR. We see a stop run, and we're looking for that continuation until we see something different. And then we note that stop run. We're starting to see sellers now. They break the swing here. That's when we noticed it, and that's when we started to look for 82.5 and lower to start to transact. All right. So and the first swing here would be 84 here. All right. So that's how you can start to put these pieces together. Now, how would you get involved in this? All right. Well, you could look at something like this. You could get involved here when you start to see those sellers come in, because we would look for that, and we would look for them to take it down, or sellers to drive and try to drive it away from here and retest some of the market structure down here. Okay? And that's where you can manage and take some off in your trade. It depends on your time frame. Okay, if it's a smaller time frame and you're looking at exiting here at 82 altogether, okay, then yeah, maybe taking some off up here is a good idea, right? And then move your stop down, maybe to break even for the next leg, or maybe break even overall position. All right, so that can be very helpful. And again, what we're doing in here is, and this is really important to understand, we are going through a process, and these are just concepts and ideas. It is not a trade recommendation. If you can digest these concepts and these ideas in here, go back and study it, and you can develop your own trading plan, and then you own it. And then you own these gains. You own, if it gets stopped out, you also own that one too. All right. So that's where you will need to do this yourself. We'll need to put these pieces together. That's how it's done. Now you have a trading plan that you have back tested and studied, and now you can start to develop odds around it, and you know if you have higher probability of it working out or not. All right. So therein is encapsulated a trading plan right there, but you need to write it out yourself and go back and study it. So what these webinars are for here is for you to give you guys ideas, or ladies and gentlemen in here, and then to take those ideas forward. Okay? Maybe this is not for you. Maybe you want something simpler. Maybe you want to look at CVD around these areas. Doesn't matter. Whatever works for you, right? Tesla, yeah, we can take a look at Tesla as well. And I mentioned to Stan he wanted to look at RTY, so we will definitely look at that as well. All right, so let's jump over there. Yeah, good morning everybody over in Discord. Yeah, the NQ, yeah, we can take a look at that as well. No problem. I just wanted to go through this whole process in here for the ES, since, and that's the higher time frame candlestick chart that I have here as well. Okay, now does it make sense here? I mean, we're drilling down. We're using actually the same process here as we would in Bookmap at micro level or microstructural levels. We look for these turnarounds due to the order flow, and then where price might go due to the order flow and the behavior of these traders in here. We are taking that and just moving it to the higher time frame, and we're doing the exact same thing, like this big flag pattern here, which may turn into a double top. We don't know, right? But we can see that it is clearly buyers in control. This is a pretty mild pullback, and then buyers come in hand over fist again on the daily, right? So we can extrapolate that into this here. Like here we see, buyers come in, here's our pullback, and buyers coming in again. Or, sellers come in, pull back, sellers come in again. This one did 3 legs to the downside. Okay, now this is the pullback we were looking for earlier, back to about 85 here. Again, for reasons, this is where we see a little bit of a jag here, and sellers took it down. And we also have high liquidity here at 85. So we would look for this being a probable area for buyers to retest. All right, so anyway, just understanding this behavior in here, you'll be amazed at what kind of things you'll learn about the market. And the things you're learning about the market are quite objective. There's high liquidity here. They were taken on by buyers. Now we want to understand if there's still more buying pressure, or did it exhaust up here? There's a little bit. Looks like it's exhausting though. Do we see sellers down here? A little bit, not yet. We're getting a bit of a retest. Do I see buyers? No. Do I see sellers here again? Let's see. If I do, I'm looking for them to come down into maybe 83 and a quarter or 82 again. Okay, same process, right? So anyway, all right, let's jump back into and let me know if you have any questions on this. But let's jump back into our Russell. That was the first thing. Stan wanted to take a look at that. Here we go, Stan. Interesting moves on the Russell. It's always interesting to look at the Russell compared to these stock indexes. I mean, just look at this compared to ES. It is really sideways action here. It's all over the place. Here's our data, 830, moved to the upside. That was bullish at least. That it has in common. We get the pullback here. Bulls come back up. Look at the buying up in here. Okay, or the lack of buying up in here. Above the swing too. This is where you'll get your CVD readings in here. I don't know if you look at much of that, Stan, which I prefer you don't, but whatever. It goes over the point that there's less buying clearly, and it made a higher high. Right, so we see the sellers come in at 930 and move that market lower. Okay, then they move it lower again, and we come back down into this swing low here around 04.5, and then we see buyers come back in. Okay, and it's been really back and forth in here. Yeah, we had the U of M market sentiment in here, consumer sentiment. 10 o'clock, we see that a lot of pulled liquidity, and then you can see that buyers starting to come in, and we have the book behind us here as well. So yeah, let's see if these buyers can reach back up to the swing here. I like this idea here, and maybe they can reach up to 15 as well, which would be high of the day. Right, it's pretty strong buying coming back in. Right, again, CVD, you're going to see this. You don't need to look at CVD to understand that, right? You can see it here. It's very, very clear. This is the selling, and just look at the dots and the color and the size. And this is the buying coming in. Wow, great. All right, so buyers, I would imagine they should be able to reach 15, no problem, or 13, and then I think they can break out to 15. There is a lot of pressure in here. Okay, so let's zoom in a little closer though and understand who's on the other side of the trade. Okay, high liquidity here at this 11 or 12. They're just trading into it now. Book is still on our side here. Okay, but we do see the still more liquidity up here. We like to see these guys get out of the way and the book to come in. The opposite's kind of happening right now. The book is pulling here on the bid, and they stayed in here on the offer, right? So now we can see sellers coming in. Okay, but we're still looking for, we know that this is still a lot of buying pressure, so we're retesting where it broke out from, and let's see if we can get back up into here again. Okay, the swing high at around 12. All right, that's what I see so far. in the Russell. And one of the things to note in here too, like well, we have a high volume node that you can look at, and this is surprising to see. I was just looking for the break below here, and then the move back up. This is where you have to get to know your instruments as well. The Russell will do like this. Okay, so now you can be a buyer down here though. So this is where you're buying up at a pretty lofty area. Some market structure too to take a look at. Now that's hindsight, but I should have seen that earlier. But now we have market structure down here, right? So I'm looking for sellers to step away, and I'm looking for profit taking to come in, and then I'm looking for buyers to come in as well. Okay, so I would be looking for the move right back to 10 first, where it dropped from, and then maybe we can get back up into the swing high up here. We can look at 11 and 11.7 or 8 or something like that. And this is what happened. Okay, so still looking for it, but a seller came in here and just dumped. Now this is an aggressor, right? And this we just never know when it's going to happen. We know that's going to be a stop run as well. And funny enough, it is not. So it is purely just a larger player dumping, okay, hitting market sell button with a lot of size. Okay, it's not a stop run. Morning, Hector. Okay, so now we're down to this swing here. Okay, so I was looking for profit taking here because we know this was some bullish activity. This seller here was able to drive it lower, and that's what happened. I'm looking for buyers to test this seller, though. We'll see. Now, we didn't know that was going to happen, right? We were looking for a bounce here for the reasons that we just spoke of. So how do you guard against that? You just get out of the trade. Right, in terms of trade management. Again, we're not recommending trades nor trading styles. It is a consideration here. You've got to do that work, that groundwork. But who's to say? Like maybe a seller has massive size in here. Clearly, they did here, and move that market lower, and we're able to move it lower again. Who knows? They may come in yet again and do the same exact thing down here. Okay, and if they do, well, they're controlling that market really. We're looking for the swing down to the low of the day here at that point. Yeah, this was looking like really at that point and that time. This was looking really good. Okay, we didn't have a whole lot of seller. Look at all the buying. Look at the delta in here. And then we got up here. They traded in this liquidity and got a pullback. I'm still looking for buyers. And maybe below this swing here. And then looking for those buyers to come in. And the sellers just dropped it. Okay, now this market's going to be a lot different than S&P. Okay, there'll be some similarities here. Especially with that larger player, it looks like. But we see really bullish activity here in the S&P, right? Or the Nasdaq, I'm sorry, the Russell was more sideways than anything. All right, let's get back to YouTube here. Arun, can we understand the colors and shading better? Yeah, sure. So it's very simple. Here, let's just zoom in here. All right, and then let me pull back a little bit. All right, so see the 8175 up here? It's this yellow color. It's 205 contracts. Okay, COB column stands for current order book. This color here in the heat map, and let's zoom more vertically by left click holding and dragging on price ladder. Here's 237 down here. Right, so 22 more contracts, and it's this red or orangish color here compared to this yellow color here. So that's the heat map. Here it is in the top center of the chart. The scale, very high liquidity is red and orange, then followed by yellow, then white, blue, and then black is the least amount. And you can verify it here. Okay, so this kind of bluish color in here is 154. Okay, a little darker blue or same blue color right here, 154. A darker blue, 138, 143. And that's it. Okay, we just take that from the current market here and then project it on the chart historically. So see this high liquidity coming in the market right now. Look at this. It's recorded. And now we have a transaction that took place in here as well into that high liquidity. So we've recorded it all. Now you understand what happened here, precisely what happened. Okay. Now we found some sellers here. And we would typically look for sellers to continue, but I'm not really seeing that, right? So I'm actually looking for buyers up here at 02 or 82.5. If we can get that, then I think we can get maybe a short squeeze and move on up into 83.5, 84. Okay, that would be a scenario. That's what we're outlining here by reading the order flow, and in particular, we're reading this in here. Okay. Now I'm not seeing those buyers right now. I do see a little bit of support here at 81.5. Okay, or a little bit of demand here, and this is difficult. This is really difficult to read here. Again, we don't know when this is going to happen. We don't have any insight at all. It's a larger player. They swept the order book lower, and we have a stop run in here as well. Okay, what we can safeguard ourselves against in here on moves like that is how have they been doing them previously? Yes, right here. We notice it also in the Russell. Okay, in the Russell, we were actually looking for them to maybe come in again, and they did. Okay, so here's our big move here. Here is another one here. So that you can, if you start to see that behavior and you get caught up in it, and what's going on in here? Well, we're starting to understand a particular larger player, I believe, and their behavior is they're coming in and they're just selling, okay? And they're moving the market lower though, right? So now, can one player move this whole market? Well, it can certainly shift the tide. Now it did move the market, but this could be so short-lived, right? This book sweep here and this massive selling that just comes into the market. It can be so short-lived. We don't know what's going to happen. We might find buyers say, yeah, that's great. All right, it was a stop. Let's say it's a stop run, which it was not. If it was a stop run, and we can look for buyers to come in back up above here, this 09.5 area here, and then look for them to continue, because here would be a discount for them. But they're not buying. We don't see a lot of traders buying. Okay, they're not really too interested in it. They just kind of let it slide away, and then we see that behavior of that seller come in yet again. Now we don't know if it's the same one or not, but it looks pretty suspicious, conspicuous that it's the other same trader. Okay, so I hope I answered your question, Arun, and then some about this behavior. Yeah, that made things pretty tricky to read now. And what I wanted to get at here was that this selling in here, yeah, it might be short-lived, right? And then you'll find buyers scoop it up at a certain point. However, this larger player can maybe have enough reach and influence if it is in line with the market sentiment, that they dump first and others start to follow, and they pick up on that. And then we have a shift and more sellers start to come in, and it shifts from a bullish to a bearish sentiment. We've seen that happen many times unfold. Okay, so right now, look what's unfolding now in the Russell. Okay, we have our buyers above this selling or trying to get above it right here, and looking pretty good. So I would look for more buyers in here. Now we'll see. Maybe the seller comes in again. We have to be aware of that, and you might get slipped, down to like 0.5 or lower. But I would look for buyers in here right now to lift the offer up into this swing up here. Okay, because after this selling, someone's starting to think, well, maybe we can scoop this up. This is a good time to buy. Right, so let's read it here and let's see. So it's kind of short-lived. They did not buy back up in here. Okay, getting another rotation though. Let's see if we get our buyers up here at 06.5, and we didn't. All right, so sellers now have the door open to now hit it into 05 here. Right, the book looks pretty good here. Let's see these sellers come in. There we go, and see how they're pulling here at 05. They're adding on the offer here. Okay, looking for more sellers, looking for the move into 05, and then that's where I would be taking some off, and then looking for the continuation of the move. All right, we tried, or we read, buyers coming in here, right, and then the back and forth, and we're like, ooh, wait a minute, some exhaustion here. That's not looking good. And then we started to read the order book in here, and then started to note that yeah, we're looking for our sellers to take it down to 05. Okay, and then reduce some risk there at that point. And it's already traded 05, just 9 contracts. There we go. There's 05 through it. Okay, looking for the continuation lower here. We're going to the lows of the day here, and then maybe continuation below as well. Arun, let's see. Yes, thanks. How does the order flow overlay? It's like VWAP, and oh, it's great. That's Arun. That's exactly what you want to piece together. All right, let's just add VWAP here, for example. Now, my VWAP might be different than yours. Okay, because let's see. I think I have it reset at the cash open. If I don't, I will do that now. So then maybe we can look at the same one. Go. All right, so now it reset here at 9:30. This is the VWAP that I have now. How can you use this? Well, this is not bad right here. Okay, look at buyers above it, and then sellers below it. Okay, so this is kind of turning into kind of an important line here. I actually like this line better here at 08.5, because there's certainly buyers above it, and it matches with this kind of consolidation structure. Buyers above it, sellers back down into it and below it now. Our continuation move here below 05 is continuing, so that's still looking good, and I'd still look to hold this. All right, now we saw this in here with these buyers. We gave them a chance. They just didn't deliver. And we had our exhaustion. We had our sellers. That's when we're starting to look for the move into 05 and then the continuation. So this would be what you would do, Arun, or anyone, with whatever you're looking at: cumulative volume delta, a moving average, a trend line. We can add trend lines in here, no problem. You're looking for what is the condition of the auction and the behavior of the traders around your areas of interest. That's how you piece it together. Okay, so if you don't see enough volume back up above your VWAP here, and you start to see sellers back down below it, maybe it looks like you can look for a drive away from the VWAP. Now, I don't know, maybe you also have an ATR, or I'm sorry, a standard deviation on your VWAP. Maybe it's down here, maybe it's at the figure. Okay, So, and maybe you've tested this strategy. That's the important thing. Have you tested your strategy? Is it coming back down into something you know you can get a bounce out of an area? Okay, now match it up with some things. Okay, what's the order book look like? You know, what's you can see that we're trading into the figure just here, and I don't see anyone absorbing on the bid at all. Okay, so I do see some buying coming in here. We might get a mild pullback. We might come back to 04 here, but yeah, we stick with it until we see something else. Okay, we're also seeing buyers supporting it here underneath. We are getting that pullback right now. And we look for these areas in here. This is not a bad area right here, but this is a better one up here around, it's actually 03.8. Arun, does that make sense? You know, so no matter what it is that you're looking at, you can also look at your trend lines or horizontal lines. Let's look at a small trend line in here and just go over the point. Okay, so we're looking at a trend line here. Okay, we're looking at, we want to see in a trend, right? We want to see maybe support in the book here. Well, we got that. And we want to see more buyers at higher highs. We got that. So we're still looking for our 4, and we're already there, right? We were looking for it back in here, potentially. Okay, now we didn't see in here, we didn't have all the pieces for this move here. Okay, but anyway, let me go over this trend line. Okay, now it's being tested. Okay, do we have our buyers up here? Yeah, a little bit. Okay, it looks a little back and forth to me. Okay, we are breaking that trend line now. Okay, there's some exhaustion. Let's see if we get some sellers, and then we look for them to move it down to 03.5. Okay, this liquidity. And this little area here, maybe where they broke out from, matches nicely with the liquidity. Okay, let's see. Exhaustion again. Sellers, yep. Sellers bring it back down. See? Does that make sense? We just went through the process. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Looking for buyers up here. Didn't get them. Do we get sellers? Yes. We're looking for the move where 03.5 here. Okay, and that's it. Take some off and then maybe hold as a way to possibly manage your trade. Okay, our trend line broke. Then we're looking for these points in here. Okay, we're not looking for one point. Okay, I think some traders in our Discord got back to I recall seeing something in there about like, yeah, 1 point is great, but it's not enough. Right? So how do you know if this trend line is going to break? Well, start to understand this auction process in here. Okay, that's how you do it. That's how you can look for something that is higher probability. It's as simple as that. Okay, understanding the condition of the behavior of the traders, condition of the auction. Okay, now we're back up here. Okay, do we see more buyers at this higher high? Not yet. Okay, what's the order book telling us here? So let's go through a double top example here. Okay, well, I'm not seeing buyers yet. Okay, do I see some sellers in here? It's kind of back and forth. Now there's a little bit of support at 04. Now a lot more. Did we get a lot of buyers though? No, I'm not touching this. I am not looking for this to break out. Now it might, but this is not giving me a good feeling here. Right? So now here's a retest and it's trying again. And it has more support on the bid here. And we're getting a few more buyers. Now it's looking better actually. So now I like it better, but this is a little too high for me. I don't want to put risk on up here. So I'm going to stay away from it. Okay, but it might come up into 06, 07 up here. All right, we can go back to our trend line study. Same ideas. Oops. Same ideas, same concepts. Yeah, Arun, let me show you where you can go to learn more about all of this. And we're going to have more videos on strategy and setups in the coming months. Right? But go to the Learning Center. Okay, go to bookmap.com, click on the More button, go to the Learning Center. In the Learning Center here, there's a market mechanics course that will help you. Okay, we have a Getting Started course that will help you on learning all about all the features in Bookmap. And then we have Getting Connected videos here on how to connect Bookmap to data. Okay, we also have order flow phenomena videos, add-ons, and then some insights. And then like we started off the webinar, we have all sorts of events in here every day. So for today, for example, here, let's see. So I'm presenting here. We have Paco in Portuguese in another half hour. We also have Tom B at that time, Frank Moreno in Spanish at 1. And then at 1:30 we have Doug with options, and then the Algo boys take us into the close from 2:30 onward. Hey, come in here, look at how they're trading and using Bookmap as well. Okay, maybe what I'm talking about doesn't really fit your style. Maybe their style fits better. Okay, so anyway, guys, yeah, now we're breaking that trend line, and look at the order book in here. And Russell will do this to you. NASDAQ will do this to you. It'll move before you get to the point. Sellers come in. They're controlling it in this little area of consolidation. And then where are the buyers here again? Do I see buyers? Do I see buyers? Do I see buyers? No, no, and no. Do I see some selling? Yeah, a little bit. Looking a little bit better, and also selling at this low here. And then looking for the break. Okay, looking for where to go. Well, how about use ATR or a range, a measured move in here. So here's a possible way to consider taking some profit and managing your trade as well. Okay, do you have high liquidity down here? Yeah, you do. So you can take some off down here, reduce your risk, move your stop, and look for it to move. Right? In this case, you made a good decision. Could have been stopped out, but you're looking for a higher probability of this to work due to what the participants are telling us in this area here. Okay, so go through these examples, go through this video. Again, it's recorded, and then go through it again, and then hey, reach out to us on Discord, and I'll provide this this feed here for you if you want to replay it in replay mode. Right? You can watch the video or the recording of this webinar, and you can replay it in replay mode again and again and again. Right? Until you look at it and recognize that you have an edge. That's what we're here for. Right? And then we go over different ways of potentially managing that edge, which is these are the two most important factors of trading, in my opinion. So we reduced took some profit here, holding, looking for maybe down below this swing, and maybe you got stopped out at break even, right? Or maybe you look for this, all sorts of different ways. We haven't talked about a lot of the ways of managing your winners. Getting out in some of the areas, true, that we've talked about a lot. But you can also manage it the same way. You can even reverse, right? If you feel comfortable about things like that. Now, this is extremely easy for me to do in hindsight, no question. However, we do it in real time as well. Done it already several times today. I'm looking for sellers to come in here. I see the big transaction here. I'm looking for them to drop it. And then we get two retests in here. Where are the sellers? None. At least if they're still in this trend, I would look for sellers off of that trend line. Instead, we're getting buyers. Okay, so that you could exit your trade here. Now you don't know, maybe it just pops up a tick and then sellers come in hand over fist and then move it. That's the risk you take. But you have reasons in here, and honestly, there's not a whole lot of reasons. It would be great if you saw high liquidity getting filled in here, but we don't. Right, so you could have reasons that you see the aggressors moving in, though. You could have reasons for this potentially to pull back into these areas here, and potentially reverse as well. But since I don't have all the pieces in here, I don't have liquidity getting filled on the bid. I do see the exhaustion here. I do see the buyers here and here. Yeah, I would look for a pullback here, but they continued. Traders continued to buy at higher highs here and move higher. Right? And you do have the trend line break too. Right? So you do have some things, you just don't have all the pieces here. Anyway, see here. I've been just ranting today, guys. Sorry about that. We just see good stuff all the time. We don't even go over the Russell very often. I promise we go over Tesla, so let's jump over there, and we'll also look at the NASDAQ. Right? You're welcome, Stan. Yeah, the Tesla. Well, yeah, really bullish, guys. Look at this in here. We've seen this in Tesla. Now, I would recommend taking a look at Tesla on the bigger picture. In fact, let me go to that here. Hold on. And just take a look at a simple candlestick chart. Okay, on a daily. And we'll see what's going on. Yeah, because it's pretty bullish here. I'll tell you why. And here's the daily. It's not much of a move today, but I'd be watching very closely this swing right here at 264 and a half, or I don't know, somewhere around there, 265, something like that, right? Well, here's 264. Here's 265 up here. Yeah. Now, why I think this is bullish in here, look at the delta down here in the dots. Now, there's sellers in here, but the overall is pretty bullish here. Right? So we're just looking for pullbacks and continuation. Pullbacks and continuation. And it has pulled back already to tops of these areas in here. So, example here. And then we have a structure in here. And yeah, it's true that the structure in here is kind of a reversal-like. It's making higher highs in here into high liquidity here and here. And then it goes back and forth, makes an equal high here, and we find sellers, and they actually break the structure here, and we come back up. So there, market structure-wise, we are not as bullish then. We're looking to break this swing up here on pretty strong buy volume, and I don't see that quite yet, but that's what I'd be looking for. A lot of times you might see some sort of reversal pattern, and what unfolds here is something like this. You get your move up, your reversal pattern, and then you'll get the move leg 1 down, you get your pullback, you get leg 2 down, and it fails to continue, right? And you'll get your move back up, and then you can get your continuation. Okay, this happens frequently in all markets. So keep an eye out for that potentially happening here in Tesla. But it is undeniable that there is a lot of buying in here. The daily chart, though, they need to, we need to see some buying up above this, well, into the swing here, and then try to get back up into this swing up above here on the daily. Okay, but so far so good. I mean, I'm just looking. I would look for just the test up here to begin with. The day is bullish so far. All right. Do you or others do this learning session daily? Arun, we started the webinar off talking all about that from the Learning Center and the calendar. Okay, so again, from the Learning Center, you can if you're new here, just click on the join free live events here. It'll scroll you down to our calendar. And as I mentioned, we have today, so I'm doing all markets. We have Tom B, Frank Moreno, or Paco, Tom B, Frank Moreno, Doug, and then Algo Boys. So for the rest of the day, there are live streamers. They're going to go over different styles of trading. Right? So maybe you find something that that you like in there. You're welcome, Alexander. All right, let's jump back and look at NASDAQ as well. Let's take a one peek to now that you got me curious, Stan, on this Russell here. I'm not seeing the buy. I see buyers here, but I don't see them here, right? And it made a lower high here, so yeah, I'd look for the. I mean, it's already done it, but I would actually look for, see if we can get a bit more selling in here and drop it down to this swing here. Okay, maybe all the way back down here, but yeah, I'm not really seeing much at the moment. All right, NASDAQ, let's see what's happening there. Okay, NASDAQ looks a lot more like the ES. Let's double check that ES. The ES might have pulled back quite a bit more. No, it's pretty similar. Okay. And what do we see here in the NASDAQ? Back to the heat map, store values. Okay. Now, the NASDAQ even failed to do an equal top, right? Or we got a nice equal top here on the ES. This is weaker here. Well, it's pretty back and forth, but the strong selling is here. Okay? And then strong buying failed to reach a higher high, and it's really back and forth in here. So we're going to get a break one way or the other here pretty soon, I imagine. High liquidity getting filled in here and here. And it's not much to look at here. But let's go through it again. Same, let's just look at trend lines again in here. Or we can look at, candle patterns, whatever you guys like. But let's take a look at some trend lines. Boy, it is not much, guys, really. I don't see much. Okay, here come our buyers. Now they're just trading up to this swing, though. Now they're through it. Now they're through it. Okay, up to this swing here. Okay, yeah, it's a strong move by the buy side. I would look for a pullback, though. Maybe can come right back down to 42.5. It's going to be a stop run too. It is, but it's not that big. Okay, let's see if we get more. Maybe we get more buyers up here, and then back to 50, 350, and then maybe back up to 52.5 higher. our pullback that I was looking for, very, very mild in here, very mild. So yeah, buyers up at 50 now. This is a tough read. I mean, like, what do we have? What kind of pieces do we have here for this to unfold? Not a whole lot. Not a whole lot of liquidity getting filled in here. This is very back and forth in here. Buyers, sellers, buyers, sellers. We do have a little bit of structure in here, but that is bullish. Yeah, the only thing we could really hang our hats on in here was that we were looking for the pullback immediately. I thought we'd get it back down to about 42.5, where it broke from. This was the pullback here, and then we saw more buyers up here again. So then I'm looking for the flag pattern to kind of unfold. I just don't see much to hang my hat on in here either, though. Yeah, there's more buyers here, but there's some sellers in here too, and it can easily just start going back and forth in this range here. So it could go from this range here into this range here, but broke out from it. This is a good momentum move. I just don't see a lot to give us insight on the order book here to help us, to give us something that is more likely to unfold. Now we're getting our deeper pullback here. Okay, and a lower high. There's some exhaustion. Now, do we get sellers here? All right, if we do, then I would look for the sellers to drop it to here, then maybe back down to here, and then maybe we can even get back down to our 42.5 area that we were originally looking for. Okay, this move played out. And again, guys, this NASDAQ it's really kind of sloshing around back and forth in my opinion. I do not see a lot of support or supply and demand here in the order book. See how it's dark in here? It's just going back and forth in here. Yeah, we're looking for the move lower due to this. It's really this in here. After this played out up to the swing, then we saw this and we saw that selling coming in, retests, and then looking for it to go lower. This one looks pretty good here. We got a double top kind of here, and we've got a double top here, looking for our sellers, looking for a drop. It's not much though. Okay, we don't have anything in the order book that helps us here. I don't know, Arun, you might be able to program your trend lines just by looking at swings within a certain period. I was talking about, here comes our move and back into 42.5. I was talking about, and we can look for some support here as well, potentially, right? We do have this trend line here. I don't see it yet. Now, one thing to look for too is after a stop run, look for the move back up above the stop run, okay, which would be here. And we look for our cluster of buyers here, and then we can get maybe the move up into here or here. Okay. And this is something we're looking for it. I just don't see a lot going on in here for that to unfold. The concept is this, though. We just go over the concept because this is not like hitting us over the head that this is going to unfold, right? We don't have all the pieces, and we want all the pieces. We'll lean on that. That's what we want to get the insight from. Okay? What we do have though is this interesting piece here, and that is this kind of stop run into a trend line and high liquidity here. Okay, so that's fact. And then a lot of times after a stop run, we look for our buyers back up above that area to start to move back up into these swings here and liquidity. Okay, so here's our first one. It had to go back and forth for this to do it. Okay, if we had something more in the order book and more transactions here by the buyers, it would have done it sooner. But we didn't. So that's how you can get this back and forth in here. And let's see if we can get more buyers now here in the order book to help us out now. And we're not. Okay, but if we do, yeah, now we're starting to. Let's see it. Let's just zoom in here and watch this. And we want to see these guys pull here, and then we're looking for 55. Okay. Now it's starting to do it, but again, we didn't really have too much in the order book here to help us out. Okay, so they weren't pulling. Okay, we're looking for it, that scenario, but was it more likely to happen? Not really. We had maybe a little bit come in here, but it's already made the move by then. Volume wise though, we did get the cluster, and we mentioned that this may unfold. We just didn't get all the pieces. Okay, so we're filtering and looking for something that is more likely. What I was going to mention was about the we talked about the turtle traders, and we're talking about trade management and trader psychology last week, and bashing trader psychology more than anything. We can drop it down into a very simple sentence. Can you manage the trade regardless what's going on in your life? You can manage the trade. You don't have, that's it. There's your trader psychology. If you can't, you shouldn't be trading. If you can, then trade, no matter what is going on in your life. Okay, and then you're an expert. If you can, you lean on your expertise, your skills. It's like you're a professional pitcher, and your dog died or something, but you got to get back on the mound. You got to pitch. You're a professional. That's a really dumb analogy. Sorry about that one. Cringe a little bit. BBM. So you're looking at the bids to start coming in. Yeah. I mean, seeing demand on the bid is always good. And then seeing the opposite unfold on the offer that they're going to pull, right? That's how you can get a supply and demand imbalance, and you can get a repricing due to that auction activity. Okay, we go through that in this back again to the learning center here in the market mechanics course. Click on that, and then part 1 of the market mechanics course. Here, let's just start it. Yeah, here. We're right at it here. We go through these kinds of scenarios precisely, or yeah, it's a scenario, I guess. But it's really about the mechanics, what makes the market move, and how you can get a skew in the auction, in the orders here, the supply and the demand, and that will have an effect potentially on the aggressor. Okay. Now, suppose they pull a lot of liquidity in here, like there's 15 contracts here at the current bid. Well, let's suppose that they pull it and there's only 1 contract here on the bid. And then that this market sell comes in and it's 10. It's going to blaze right through that and come to the next level. But no, let's suppose there's 1 here and this guy trades 20. Well, he's going to sweep through the 18. One's going to trade here. Okay, so now he has 19 contracts. But remember, he hit market sell. He's sweeping the book. He wants in now. He'll take all of this liquidity, and he'll trade 1 contract into here, and there'll be 21 left on the bid after his 20 lot fills. Okay, that's what's going on in the auction process. Okay, and we're looking at the same thing here in the order book, in higher time frames and smaller time frames. Doesn't really matter. Can I give some thoughts on the Brazilian market? Sure. We can take a quick look. I don't want to cover it too much, but you want to look at the stock indexes there. Okay. Bovespa. Yep. I've got it already. Oh no, that's NQ. There we go. I'm sorry, that's the dollar, right? You really should come into, you're already in our Discord channel. You got to go and see Paco. He's excellent. Yeah, I would really recommend that you go do that. He's a really good trader. You see him, okay? Yeah, yeah, and he's looking at such simple stuff too. Supply and demand, or support and resistance areas. Like for him right now, this would probably be an area in the Nasdaq he's interested in. Let's take a look at the. I can't remember. Is this the dollar? Or is this the stock index? This is the dollar, right? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I don't have a lot of data in here. We can add a bit more. Oh, it's gotten to a new contract. Okay, got you. That's what the problem is. Okay. Sorry. Hold on. Let's just rewrite this. Yeah. Let's jump back to our Tesla and just see what's going on here. Kind of jumping around a bit. You can see what happened in here, what we outlined and what unfolded. It was strong enough that, and that makes sense to us, right? Because of all this buying delta down here, mostly buyers, right? So we're still looking for this to go higher in the bigger scheme of things. Now this kind of double bottom and then continuation. It only did one leg down, and then it pulled back in, went back and forth, and then broke out. And then we're back in the middle of the range. But this is a good area in here to look for the pullback, and then look for your order flow in here on Tesla. Okay, you can maybe even look at a higher time frame trend line as well. You can go back hours on that one. Funny that matches up. Yeah, it broke it, this more aggressive one here. So maybe we're going to get just some back and forth in here for a bit in Tesla. Let's go back to our Russell. Boy, look at the Russell again. Lots of buying in here, guys, but they're failing to make, higher highs in here. Okay, so that's where we get a retest in here though on the Russell. If we do, then we got to go through the scenario. We look for the book to support it on the bid, pull on the offer, and we get our buyers here though. It's looking pretty good because we don't see a lot of sellers down here, right? So we're looking for buyers here though. And if we do, and we have some book support, I think we can get up and back up into these swings pretty easily. And back into 08. Market structure though is not looking too good. Even though we see these buyers, they're failing to take it higher. Okay? That's why we got to find buyers up here. Then they can take it higher. How's our ES doing? Boy, they all did similar thing. So here we didn't get that double bottom. It just one leg down, and then right back up. Nasdaq probably did something similar. No, the Nasdaq actually did the double bottom in here, and it's struggling though. So this is clearly weaker today. And you don't want to see buyers down here. I mean, that's where you can get just a beautiful stop run into here. And see how these buyers are going to feel. They're like just feeling, they're going to start to feel the pain right now. Who knows? Who knows how much demand they have? Maybe, maybe this is, we come back up here and we get our buyers and we get our breakout. This is not looking good though. They're buying here. They're buying in these areas. They can't make it higher. They're going to have to exit, and we should get our stop run on the move down here. Not seeing much in the dollar. Just trading into some high liquidity here at the moment. And then Paco starts in 5 minutes. So best to go over and ask him. Sorry. Let's go back here and answer any more questions that you guys may have. Ravi, it's Doug's on at 1:30. This is Bruce. So you can still look forward to that. You're welcome. All right. I like these Brazilian markets, and this is looking like really good momentum in here. Traded into and through this here. I mean, I don't have much data in here, so I don't know what to tell you, but I would look for this move up into 48.50-ish. It's looking pretty good. They traded into, pulled back a little bit, traded into and through, and we have traders here, just looking for that continuation. Right? But like I said, this is all I have in here to go off of. It's not much, but this looks pretty clean and clear to me. It's really clean. Yeah. All right. So we talked about our stop run. Here it is in the Russell. Guys, what should I call this webinar here? I want to name it for you guys, but I don't know what to. I covered many different things. Maybe about kind of building out your trading plan. We talked about what to look for. Some of the things to having multiple confluences, I guess, something like that. And we looked at multiple markets, which is good. But our NASDAQ is still weak to these areas here. S&P stronger. And our Tesla's got to be pulling back still. Yeah, it's just kind of going back and forth. All right, guys. Well, let's yeah, if you like this, please hit the like button. We're really happy to bring you all this education, and it's all free. And don't forget, like there's a couple things to remind you about here. Number one is Monday and Tuesday we are off, except for Paco and Arun. That will be in the Indian market. Okay, and Paco will be in the Brazilian market on Monday. And then Arun will be Monday and Tuesday. Yeah, don't forget to go visit the Learning Center to get to some of these videos in here. Like for example, this course part 1 here, and just understanding market mechanics, and then yeah, I'll remind me if I forget to put this into the all markets chat room. The recording for today, okay, in here, guys, this is where it'll be. So if you want to replay this in Bookmap, then you can use your replay mode and then watch this webinar together. That might be a really good way to practice. Okay, like again, these webinars here, we're here to give the concepts and then for you to take it further. If you like it, hit the like button and then go back and study. And then we'll be very, very happy to cover more of this information with you. And then so that's the some of the courses and materials here in the Learning Center. Yeah, thanks Trader for putting that in the link in there. And the other thing I wanted to cover was our Academy course here. Okay, so if you're interested in this, so read through it. I'm not going to cover it again, but we're offering an on-ramp for you guys to be a part of a more professional community and to become a much more skilled trader by documenting your trading and sharing. And we're happy to offer this for you. And as a path here, through these steps here, to become a coach, become a streamer, etc. Tom B, Doug, and Moby have all made it to this level here. So and they're creating some really good content for you guys. Really happy to bring it. Okay, so yeah, thanks everyone. Hit the like button. We'll catch up with you after the 4th of July US holiday, and we'll see you then. Okay, that'll be on Wednesday. Thanks everyone. Take care. Have a great holiday weekend.